Welcome to Grocery from Her Seat, the WGA podcast offering a unique perspective as seen through the eyes of remarkable women who shape and lead in the independent grocery industry. Your host, Kristin Popp, president of WGA, will bring you exclusive stories and insights from the women serving our industry, from presidents to CEOs to entrepreneurs and students. This podcast is your source of information. Now listen, take notes, and welcome Kristin Popp.
I am your host, Kristin Popp, and today I have the opportunity to chat with Melissa Mayfield, Head of Sales, Grocery and Retail Operations with Colgate-Palmolive. Welcome to Grocery from Your Seat, Melissa, and thank you so very much for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you, Kristin. I'm happy to be here.
Melissa, I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself a little bit further, your role that you have today, and then just some background on how you got involved in the grocery industry.
Oh, happy to do that. So yeah, I've been with Colgate-Palmolive for 21 years. And unlike most salespeople, I actually started my career at Colgate within supply chain, moving into category management and then into various sales and business development roles. So over my 21 years at Colgate, those experiences, it's been 9 different relocations around the United States. And I am now in this grocery role, leading grocery, military, and retail operations. I love this role because there are so many opportunities within grocery and just with the diverse experiences that I'm just thrilled to be in this role. And, you know, as we look at Colgate and the grocery industry, we decided to join NGA just this year because we saw a big opportunity to further expand ourselves and better connect and engage with independent grocers within the U.S. And, you know, I'm really happy to be part of WGA because I have a passion of elevating women within the CPG industry, but especially grocery, because historically this has been a male-dominated space. And so internally, my peer and I, we actually started a group within the Colgate-Palmolive sales organization, and we wanted this space for women within sales to create a space where we could build connections and trust and building up these future leaders by having this open space where they can ask questions without judgment and biases. So this is, you know, women within the organization and then elevating women within grocery is really important to me.
I love that you guys have taken the initiative to do that because I feel, and we talk a lot about this, that there's unique needs to help support females that differ from our male counterparts. And so to the extent that we can provide that support in any fashion, whether it's a larger entity like the WGA or something within your organization that's happened organically or just that support of those unique needs, I think just allows us to all come together to work better together. And I think that's so important. And we've seen a shift in that and definitely still progress to make going forward. But I think we're definitely seeing that shift happen, and it's allowed some really great individuals and deserving individuals to have those seats, to be a part of those conversations. I love the work that you guys are doing internally at Colgate.
Great, thank you.
You have an extensive career and really a significant role when you're covering multiple sectors, right? You talk about military, retail. You talked about the diversity, but can we dive into what really is your favorite part of that role that you have today and why you've continued to stay in that career path to get to where you are?
Yeah, number one for me is always people. It's the people that are on the Colgate-Palmolive team. It's the customers. So that's my number one passion point is just developing people, and then also with our customers, making sure that we're creating the right engagement and meeting the customers, you know, where we need to, because we can't treat everyone the same. So that for me is the most favorite part of my job for sure.
It's a people business, absolutely. And the other thing that you mentioned that I want to dive into is the 9 relocations. 21 years, 9 locations. That's a lot.
Yeah, the 9 relocations, when you think about it, it's honestly opened up my perspective quite a bit. So I was raised in a very small town and went to college just a couple towns over. So for me, I grew up and lived the same place for 22 years. And, you know, I was excited about that first move. And then each move got a little bit more exciting. And then as I had kids and, you know, got married and then had kids, it got more challenging. But what relocating has done is it's really opened up to really understand different people, different ways, cultures, and how to interact differently with people. I think that's really important because, when I was talking about that diverse experiences and diversity, and there's also diversity of thought, for me, that's probably been the biggest benefit for myself is just understanding people better and, meeting people where they're at. That's been my biggest learning. And then from a personal perspective, these relocations have really opened up how much I've seen of our country, from national parks to presidential libraries to the friends I've made throughout the country. It's really benefited my family, both personally and then me professionally.
I love that perspective. Had you not taken advantage of relocating, that you would have never experienced or had the opportunity to be a part of, and that shapes who you are today.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things when I'm mentoring or talking to the team, one of the things I tell them is being open to new experiences, because if you go in with a set mindset and not a growth mindset, you're not going to grow and learn, and challenge yourself. So that's the number one thing that I tell people when I talk to them when they're looking for advice. And it's really good to be uncomfortable, because that's where you're going to get the greatest learning, and it's okay to fail. And as long as you're learning from, the mistakes that you're making. So that's been some, big advice that I do give to the team is be open to experiences, be uncomfortable, and learn and move forward.
I love that term, because I think if you have an open mind to growing, there's so much opportunity. Also, you bring up failing. I think it's important that we fail, because that's how we grow and that's how we learn. Fail first and fail fast so that we can learn and grow and continue to better ourselves and those around us, I think is some very key thoughts you brought out there, Melissa. Thank you. You've had the opportunity to interact with many different individuals. Can you share with us just some lasting impacts on you and what those were, how that's helped you form to who you are today?
One is a lady who used to work at Colgate, and I reported in through her. Her name is Ashley, and I reported in through her for my first 3 roles at Colgate. And what I loved about Ashley is she, I was fresh out of college, and she really believed in me when I was young. And she challenged me. She pushed me. There was no coddling. And she really pushed me to be the best version of myself. And that's where that being open to new experiences, getting a little uncomfortable, that's really how my mindset opened so young in my career, was because of her. And then the other thing that when I think about what I appreciated her at the time and how it shaped me today, it was not just those things, but how you can also be a mom, be really strong business leader, have a strong voice, and you can push for yourself and push your team to be the best versions of themselves. So that's one person who inspired me. And then the other one is a leader within the organization who always was curious and would really try to understand from me 3 levels down, which made me a better leader, and it made me better at decision making, because it wasn't just curiosity, and he was really good at storytelling. So it really helped me develop as I became a leader and grew within the organization, to always have these questions and get 3 or 4 levels down to really understand the why and understand what motivates people or what motivates this decision making. And then the storytelling is really important on that. So that's something I got from that leader.
Well, shout out to both Ashley and the other leader, the 2 that have left an impact, one from the very start of your career, and Ashley. And then storytelling is one of my favorite. I love it. I think it connects us with people, and being able to tell and share your story is just impactful in so many ways. So I like that that's left an impact on you. So what are some of the biggest challenges, and what are you guys talking about in Colgate that you see females face today?
There's a few. One is balancing dual income. And so when you think about relocations, it does make it hard, and working with those individuals to really help them understand what experiences do they want out of their career, what locations do work for them, what jobs they want. And so then that way we can really have impactful conversations with them, so they can manage their life, and then we can help find them and work with them to make sure that they're going after the right experiences and the right job. So that's one area. Another one is, this younger generation, they're not wanting to move to grow their career, yet they're still wanting, to grow their career. So for us, we have to really understand how they're motivated and that their priorities are different from us. So as a company, it's really trying to understand the jobs that need to be done. The business still has to go on, but how can we change with this younger generation of upcoming leaders? We need to get the good talent, but we also need to understand that their motivations are different than maybe mine were.
Those are great topics, and actually, ones that I don't think are maybe often talked about or brought to light a lot. So dual income is an interesting one, and understanding what that looks like and what the goals are. But then the generation, multi-generational, right? And we're dealing with quite a few different generations in the workforce today, and trying to meet the individuals where they are and understand what that looks like. Shifting gears again a little bit, as we look towards the future of the industry, what excites you the most?
So when I think about AI, how can we use our future forward analytics to best predict how people are going to be shopping? What will, we know that the majority of people are still shopping in the store, but they're starting their purchase online. So how can we use those analytics to better predict the shopping patterns? I think is a big one. And the other one is digital commerce. Grocers are already in e-commerce, and the independents are getting in there too. How is that going to continue impacting the traditional retailer? And I think that's something that we need to stay on the forefront of, and what I think is an exciting opportunity for the future.
I agree with you, and I think that the experience of the shopper is really important, and so what that looks like in the future. So as we look to kind of close out here, we talked about advice and kind of individuals that have left an impact on you. Is there any advice that you have for somebody that's aspiring to join or continue their career in grocery?
Yeah, as a leader, I think you need to find out what motivates your team, and you need to lean into that. And each person is motivated a little bit differently. So some of the success that I've found has been, figuring out motivations by each person, and then building that into the team. So a team that's motivated and inspired, I always find is the best performing team. A happy team is a great performing team in my mind. And then I already talked about it, but get uncomfortable and learn. I call them brain break. Once a week, a couple hours where I shut down email, I shut down all notifications, and I either read through industry publications or I research, go through the numbers to really understand some of the opportunities that the team has. And I think that also helps, is finding that time to get out of the chaos. That's something that really helps me.
Rain breaks. I have not heard that, and I love it. I may have to snag that one myself. I think that's great advice, to just shut down and focus on one thing that you can do to help continue to grow both yourself and your team. I love it. Rain breaks. Melissa, one additional question for you. If you were writing a book or creating a podcast about the industry today, what would the title be?
I think mine would be Use Your Smile. The reason I think of that one is I tend to be a positive person and again, lean into more of a growth mindset and try not to focus on the negative. But also I think about it because, I work for Colgate-Palmolive, and there's so much in a smile, and it helps from the get-go build that relationship with the people, It also helps with building out your confidence. So yeah, good question. I like it. Use your smile.
Use your smile. I can't wait to watch for that one to come out. Melissa, thank you so very much for sharing your time and your thoughts with us today. I appreciate you, your story, and your contribution to the industry. Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to continue watching you make such a difference in all you do.
Kristin, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this.
On behalf of the Women Grocers of America, we thank you for listening to our podcast today and ask that you subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share with a friend. If you have a suggestion for a guest from the industry, mention them in the comments. Episodes are released every other week, and they are sponsored by NGA, hosted by Kristin Popp, president of WGA, and published by Rachel Milo with SWA Marketing.